of the grind area Kaizen Blitz that we had. So the problem that we had back there is everybody walked by it. It was unorganized area with no standard. It wasn't anybody's fault. What it was is that's where it started and that's where it piled up. And that's how it kept going. It just kept getting stuff shoved back there, shoved back there. The goal that we had set was set up a process and organize the area. So we wanted to at least get it all organized so we can figure out what we have and what to do with it, right? To find out what kind of standard can we set. The current state, so we talked about what did we have back there? We had 182 Gaylords. All right, that's 182 Gaylords after we combined Gaylords. All right, there's a lot of parcels. So we were probably closer to probably 200 Gaylords back there. There was 90,662 parts back there to be ground. So that's how many parts we've shoved back there. Just from where we molded all the bad products. So that's just bad parts that we pushed back there. That total dollar amount in raw material when calculated was $48,192. All right, we haven't made that much money. So we have all that money sitting back there, and it's all profit that just, well, it's all part of the loss we have. And that's a lot of money that we need to get back into the press. First, the number one thing that was on the list, and everybody agrees on it, is not make bad parts. We need to stop making the bad parts, then shoving them back there and finding a good way to rework them. But we have to start somewhere and work from somewhere. So the pictures, when you get a chance, take a look, and I'm sure most of you have seen it. It was in pretty when we started. Okay. Obviously, we even had all the totes. We had defective people working with us. We had, overflow of stuff. So we started by just clearing it out. Go ahead, Ron. All right, clearing it out and then making a list. Once we cleared it all out, we can have an idea, right? We have to have a good starting point. So what are some of the things we want to do? That we wanted to work on a stationary for incoming for grind pile, right? So now we have the inbound to be ground. So we know that everybody knows where that's at. It's a big sign that says inbound to be ground, holds 10 Gaylords. If we have something outside that, then we have a special cause. We said we should not have more than 10 Gaylords coming back there at one point in a 24-hour span. So now that is a sign that when we walk back, every morning when we go to a shipping meeting, we walk past to see what we have out back there. We wanted to try and get away from having to run material through the central loading system and just right there get all the metal out. If we have metal, we want to eliminate the chances of getting metal, but if we have it, we want to go pass it over there. We want to flow the Gaylords, obviously single flow. We want to do one at a time, get it out of there. We wanted to move those totes. Remember all the green totes we have from InSinkErator were on that side of the wall? We talked about like outside the box, creative thinking, lift the grinders up, let the material just flow by gravity, right? That's how a lot of it works, just flow through gravity across magnets. We talked about setting up a criteria to grind, like when do we grind it, when do we throw it away? Well, as of right now, we're grinding everything because there wasn't anything. 80% of this stuff would be ground, so we're going to grind everything, make it a simple process. Standard to grind by part description. So now we know when we have trim shells, if we have 20 trim shell Gaylords, it'll take us, I think it said we do 5 a day. So it'll take us 4 days to get all those done. So think about when you're making rejects and all of a sudden you piled 5 Gaylords of trim shells back there. Just think somebody's going to spend a whole day grinding that. Okay, so just think about that. We have it back there. There's a standard that Blake's worked on that tells us how much time it takes to get each one done. Work instructions for PM we're working on, work instructions for cleaning the grinders, right? We talked about we got to have a place to break down the Gaylords, to rack define, move the surge bin. And maintenance was kind enough to move that over, gave us more space, so that was rotated over. If you can see back there, the floors are getting marked, so we have an area that we know what it's used for. One of the other things we came up, just so everyone knows, in the back there'll be an aisleway and an aisleway. So we wanted to make a 2-foot aisleway so people can walk safely and not have to worry about forklifts. All right, so along the edge, along all the blue value stream, it's a smaller 2-foot area that we can walk, so we're not in the way of the forklifts. Okay. A couple of the other things that we're finding every time we come into one of these Kaizen events is we don't have a standard process of how to do it. So that we're working still on the standard. We're going to work with Blake on getting more of that defined. A grind log, how well we're doing. A schedule board. Think about it, it's a press. It's just like a press. If we got 2 things that we're grinding, we got to schedule it. And that's, if we spend a half hour at the end of the day to schedule and plan for the next day, we'll be way ahead than being chaotic and figuring out what we got going. So we've got a schedule board back there, okay? And then they cleaned under the mezzanine. I don't realize we still had stuff back there from the day we moved in. So that all got cleaned out with the help of maintenance. So we got all that stuff out of there, so it really helped. All right, so based on the standard of what Blake and we've worked off of, by mid-January we should not have any product back there, okay? If we keep the 10 down, if we keep it down to the 10 going in, and then what we can grind, and with the new process, we should be gaining every day, and then so that when we get to the incoming, instead of managing parts, we're gonna end up managing regrind. Okay, so what I mean by that is if we get through all the parts, now we have a lot of partials of regrind. So now we're going to be doing, if we get 4 Gaylords back there, there's 4 different materials. Now we got to manage the regrind and do that process. So we should be less parts and more regrind to run back through. Okay, so that's the goal by middle of July to be all gone with all that parts would be eliminated. Okay. As you can see, there's a schedule board when you get a chance to see back there, and also when you walk under the mezzanine, take a look so you can see how much of a change that is. Okay. Again, there's the inbound to be ground. It's marked up there. It is two rows of 5, so we want to make sure we're using that area when it goes in, and so Blake can evaluate it every morning for the person back there. Okay. So I want to make sure that we recognize Jessica, Blake, Robert, Frank, Bob Rule, Kyle, Pat Pena, and Tom Campbell. They did a really great job, so let's give them a hand. All right. Again, I can't stress enough, when we do a Kaizen Blitz, it does not mean we're done. Anytime we're doing an improvement or anything we're working on, it does not mean we're done. We make level load doesn't mean we're done. It means that we have to evaluate it all the time. So we have to keep it improving on top of that, okay?